Hello and welcome to the Critical Twits Netrunner Noobs. Probably the last one. Hello and welcome to the Critical Twits episode. I'm Brian Ennis.
I'm Aaron Ravitsky.
And today we are joined by two very special guests. Hello, special guests.
Hello.
Hello.
Introduce yourselves and tell us why you are special.
Because I play Netrunner, but not special anymore since it's dying.
Oh.
No, Netrunner will never die.
No. Names would be good though.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Carfe Lock.
And I'm Simon Westfield, or Reality Check on Jinteki and Slack.
Ah, yes. So you may have you may be familiar to people. Do you Jinteki as well, Carl?
Yes, I do. The name's Garfield Mew.
You were famous. You were on a stream the other day, weren't you?
Was I?
Just before just before Euros. Were you not on a stream? You played someone. You hope they wouldn't release it?
Oh, yes. I hope they didn't release it. Yes, I totally forgot about that when I was practicing. You're very...
How could you forget about your moment of fame?
Yeah, my moment of fame.
You beat Code Marvellous.
I did beat Code Marvellous and yeah, straight away everyone then knew my secret combo.
So yes, we have gathered. We've been a bit lax on the Netrunner front, and we're planning to come back to doing lots of Netrunner things, and then we can't because, well, we can, but Netrunner is being discontinued. I hope this is not news to anyone. Netrunner is being discontinued by Fantasy Flight Games. The reason given being that the IP for the game itself is being withdrawn. So there's no license for them to use the rules. It hasn't been renewed. Yeah. That's the one. So the game will cease to exist and cease to be being sold as of October 2018.
October is the end of the license, yes.
Although there is already rumours of difficulties getting hold of things as their print runs are starting to run dry.
Yeah, so there is... we've just finished the final cycle, which I can't remember, even though I just bought it all because of the reason Aaron just said. Down the White Nile, it's the White Nile.
No, cycles.
Kitara cycle.
Kitara cycle. One of the packs is called Down the White Nile.
Yeah.
So the Kitara cycle is finished. There is one box left, which is Reign and Reverie, which will contain cards for every single faction in the game, including the mini factions.
We don't know.
Don't know about the mini factions, but we do know for all the others there will be some form of delicious cardboard crack. Your last serving of cardboard crack before you're forced to go cold turkey.
Unless you're Australian.
Unless you're Australian. I've heard rumours. I've not seen it confirmed.
Their distributor has none.
Has none?
None.
Okay. That's not good.
No.
So, I think we should start the Help an Australian donation fund and order extra copies and send them to Australia, much like thieving orphan children in the 19th century. Ooh, too real. So, yes, so what we're going to do, it's probably similar to what other people are doing round about now, but we thought that's never stopped us before. We want to record our thoughts on Netrunner, what's happened, how we feel about that, what we loved about Netrunner, and our favourite Netrunner moments, and try and make it a bit of a positive retrospective.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the coverage has been very fist-shaking and grumpy.
Yeah.
So let's try and be a bit positive. We'll have a chat about Euros as well, because our special guests attended Euros, while Aaron and I ran around recording many, many videos.
Yes.
All of which are on our YouTube channel. Go there now, later, after this. And then we'll talk about what might be next, because there's some people have some ideas of what they might do to keep Netrunner alive, and some people are already eyeing up their next partner in some kind of rebound thing, which is never good. never good. You need to have a period of mourning. You need to process the relationship. Flirt with other games, but don't commit. Don't go fully in. Just the tip. So it was really, really odd and unexpected to hear that Netrunner was not being renewed. I didn't even know it was up for renewal, but I suppose that's more behind the scenes things that you don't really need to know about.
Yeah.
I think some people in the community were aware that it was on a 6-year license.
Okay.
But it
definitely was a shock.
But yeah, no one expected this. But it had a new lead developer who's only just had his first cycle come out. They announced a new big box, the revised core set. Everything seemed to be going great guns. The meta is in the best place it's been probably since I started playing.
Yes.
So
yeah,
no one expected.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier when I was reading earlier that yours is the best attended it's ever been.
Yeah.
240 something players for Euros.
Yeah.
You had a very diverse selection of runners and corps for the first. I remember being a bit grumpy about competitive Netrunner at various points, and you can only go back and listen to me doing so, because there was a tendency for top players, especially, to cluster around certain IDs. But it seemed quite diverse.
Yeah, it seemed to be quite diverse at the top table. Wasn't quite so much where I was, because the first 4 matches I had were the same runner and the same corp every time.
It wasn't just the same guy in a different mask each time.
No, in fact, the start of my 5th round, in fact, the 3rd round, we were all paired up. I sat down and I was against, who was it, Max and Titan. And then they said, okay, we've messed up the pairings, everyone go to this new table. I was like, oh, thank God, I might get a non-Max Titan. No, next one was Max Titan, so when I came up against my next opponent who pulled out a Polana ID, I was like, I just need to shake your hands.
Yes.
He then beat me, but wasn't Titan. So.
Yes, yeah, he beat you in a slightly different way.
Yes.
It's variety that is the spice of life. So you mentioned we had Core 2.0 November time?
Yeah, and they just started doing reprints of it. I think they
because they'd sold out.
They just started reprint.
So generally, when things sell out, that means that more of them will be printed, and there's lots of players, and everyone is happy because the product is selling well. There is. We talked a little bit earlier amongst ourselves about the Katara cycle. What were you saying about that?
It's probably my favourite cycle in a while.
Yeah, it's new. I mean, it fits the new Core 2 when. Like you said about it was static, how a lot of the top runners decks and corps were being the same kind of thing, then they had to do something. I mean, they introduced the most wanted list to try to get rid of, to try to balance the game out, but then at the end of it, they took the big decision to do the whole revamp, so try to reintroduce the games to all the players, and I thought that was a brilliant move, and that coincide with all the new packs was very important.
Yeah, and I'd actually seen a few people who'd kind of drifted out of the game coming back to it.
Yeah.
Less people selling off their collections and more people asking for collections. There's been lots of people appearing on Facebook groups like Netrunner Dorks, on StimHack, places like that, saying, I've only just got into this game, is it dead? And that kind of thing. And it seemed to have given it a new lease of life. Because I know, Aaron, you've probably, out of all of us here, played the least Netrunner.
Yeah, and probably own the least as well.
Yeah, but you'd gone out and picked up
Core 2.0, and I was looking at getting the cycle very soon. I was just... When they announced the sort of the dates for rotation and stuff, before, I kind of stopped playing for a little bit. Because I was like, I might as well wait until that stuff comes out and then pick back up again.
Start again fresh.
Yeah. And I was literally just waiting to get paid so I could just bundle all the stuff together. But I picked up the new core to start playing again because it really made it sound a lot more diverse and interesting.
Yeah.
And, like I could just pick up anything and give it a try, and I might actually have...
Yeah, we were planning on sort of going back to Netrunner Monthly. We were going to focus on a single ID for each episode. And talk about them and all kinds of janky things that you could do with them, because I wanted to see if I could make Apex worth playing. And I won a game as Apex earlier, so...
Yeah, well, when I had 9 agenda points in my starting hand, that was never a good start.
Yes, and it still took me about 18 turns to win.
Almost got you locked out.
Yes, almost.
Yeah,
it's that third turtle. No one expects that third turtle.
There was no Apex in Euros, was there? There was no Apex.
I think they were all represented. Or
No,
Oh, actually, no, you're right. There wasn't an Apex.
Oh,
Yeah,
now
Apex
I would-
was the only one that was.
Yeah, so actually, and no one knew it at the time, but this was the last Euros, the last ever
Yeah.
European Championships, because once a game is discontinued, obviously Fantasy Flight will stop supporting the game.
There's going to be no more official tournaments.
Yes,
But
yeah.
within about half a day of the announcement, someone is saying basically, right, I'm going to see if we can sort out an unofficial Euros. Obviously, there's no flight to Worlds to come with that because at the moment there's no Worlds to go to.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
But-
also that's quite a pricey.
That is, but you know, it
thing,
depends
yeah.
how much you charge for entry.
Yeah.
You might be able to cover it. They do it with the BABW every year.
Yes,
Which
yeah,
for those that
actually,
don't know is Bring a Brit to Worlds. So community run tournaments that everyone pays a tenner to enter the bottom level, then it goes through into a finals, and the winner of that gets their flights and accommodation all
yeah,
covered.
yeah.
So it's doable.
It is doable, but we'll come to what next more
Yeah.
towards the end. But it's interesting. I've written down in my notes the 5 stages of grief, which Aaron now. With your psychologist hat on it, you only
we'll
get
tell you-
half a hat because
Yeah.
you only did half psychology and half sociology.
Yeah.
So, 5 stages of grief, official verdict.
Are all bollocks.
All bollocks. So, what I noticed was initially people reacted with denial. They were like, no, there must be something wrong. Then they got angry. And they got angry in 2 different ways. They got angry at Fantasy Flight,
Yeah.
which is actually what I did. I was like, they've only just released the fucking Core 2.0. They're just trying to get as much money out of everyone as they possibly could before pissing off and binning it. Lots of people, more people I think, got angry at Wizards.
Which is
Yes.
why I get angry at.
Which we've
Yeah.
got a list of conspiracy theories that we'll go through. I've made us tinfoil hats especially. Play along. And then after the anger comes the bargaining. We'll carry on. We'll carry on. Netrunner will live forever. And then there'll be obviously a period of depression,
Yeah.
which I'm hoping this podcast will help to induce. Because the sooner you're depressed, the sooner you can come out the other side and accept it. Is that a good explanation of how the 5 stages of grief work, Aaron?
If they were real, yes.
Excellent. So you get some brain food with this podcast. So yeah, it's a really odd timing. It felt like Netrunner was, it felt like Core 2.0 was kind of a refresh. It was almost like a second edition. It removed a load of problem cards that were dominating the meta. Account Siphon, Jackson Howard.
Well, he was in first cycle.
Yeah,
So he
rotated
went.
out
Yeah,
anyway.
So
Medium,
medium was the big one for
Corolla
me.
previously.
Because
Yeah.
for a long period of time, runners were basically medium delivery methods.
Yes. Yeah. I got very, very sad because noise went away.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Spent your entire time just making noise decks, I think, wasn't it?
yes.
But
yeah.
if noise hadn't gone away, we never would have had the cycle of viruses that we've had this time.
Yes, yeah, because it would have been just
Yeah,
ridiculous.
virus, icebreakers, and noise. It just sounds.
Yeah, no, it would be completely wrong. I'm just imagining that one influence Ormacar on a noise. that would be lovely. Ooh.
That's the only thing you need to spend your influence on.
Does that? But if the community decides to unrotate everything,
Noise is dead. Or in
No.
prison. Or
Noise
something.
is life.
He didn't get a goodbye card. And he never will do now.
Well, he might in Rain and Reverie if
Oh,
they were
maybe,
going to spoil.
Unless he's secretly DJ Fenris in disguise.
Yes, or like Soundwave. You have Soundwave, and he could be half man, half transformer, and it would be amazing. So
He was a Gmod rather than a cyborg, but yeah, I like your theory.
so these conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Aaron, you are our master of conspiracy theories. You often dwell in Reddit, I've noticed, sharing your latest thoughts about steel beams and jet fuel.
They pin me in with those wankers. I just lurk and read everybody else's theories. I don't put forward my own. Yes, so as you said, there's people who angry at FFG because they think they knew about this far out more ahead of time than they actually seem to have said.
Yeah, once I reached the acceptance stage of the 5 stages of grief, I was fine with it. That was my initial thought, I have to admit.
Yes.
I sent them an angry tweet and everything.
I'm sure they loved. Yeah, so obviously there's a fear that there were some of the senior people at FFG anyway knew this was going to happen. We're just trying to get as much stuff out as your anger initially felt. That is one of the main rumours, but it seems to have come as a shock to them, as you said. You wouldn't get somebody whose very first development cycle has just come out suddenly go, all right, well, your job's gone by. It seems a little bit harsh. FFG don't seem to have done that in the past.
No.
They've had these rug pulled out from underneath them before.
Yeah.
And they've given more warning than they did with Conquest. Because Conquest kind of like the rug disappeared very quickly for them.
Yeah.
But
They've had a
games
few
worked.
like that with this cycle. And to be honest with you, the 6 years is quite long if you look at a few of the others that FFG has.
Yes. So the other possibilities, obviously, Wizards of the Coast are not happy with them having an IP. Now, some people seem to be saying that it's because it's Magic's main competitor. I love Netrunner. Netrunner is by far the better game.
Yes.
But equally, it's very clear that Netrunner players don't like Magic, and so won't transfer over across it. So they're not really a competitor, and there's not as big a market behind Netrunner as there is with Magic.
No.
Even though it's clearly a better game.
I mean, there was some kind of substance lurking behind that in the form of misinterpreted facts. Because isn't Magic the Gathering's revenue down like 40% year on year? So last year's revenue was massively down.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
And they've gone to a yearly rotation in an effort to kind of boost their sales. So they have lots of cards that very quickly you buy them and then they drop out and you buy them. So they're trying to kind of hyperdrive that kind of that cycle that they've got of always wanting new cards and buying more stuff and buying all the boosters.
Yeah.
Like you walk into your friendly local gaming store or your not so friendly local gaming store that smells of bum if you live in certain areas, and it's like there's like 4 or 5 different Magic things up, different cycles, I suppose. What do they call them?
The
Cycles.
They do 3 releases to a cycle, at least they did last time I played, which may show how long it's been since I played.
Yeah, there's loads of it.
Yeah.
But it's just so much. It's just so much bigger, and you can be a professional Magic the Gathering player.
Yeah.
The world champion Netrunner player didn't even get a backpack last time.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the main differences in the community. The Netrunner community is a hell of a lot nicer than the Magic community.
Yeah.
I've spoken to people who have done like competitive events at both, and they've said they're unlikely to go back.
Yeah.
Has Netrunner ever had to ban any of its community members because they were harassing trans women, for instance? Because that's happened in Magic.
Yeah.
Well, frankly, to be honest, bear in mind some of the stuff you hear about the gaming industry, I'm surprised they got banned.
Yes.
So that's one up for Magic over a lot of the tabletop role-playing companies out there at the moment.
Yeah, they're moving towards it, but it's something that's a very recent thing, and the culture, the backlash behind it, siding with those who have been banned.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
Is quite big.
I mean, I think when we very first spoke about Netrunner, I basically said that same story. It was, I went to a Magic the Gathering tournament when I was in my teens once. It was horrible. The people who played there clearly had a lot more money than me, and I was not particularly well off as a kid.
Get good.
And that was their attitude the whole time. And it was like, well, you need to get better. I was like, you couldn't got the money for the better cards. I can't afford that card. Let alone 3 of them.
With Magic, it's not so much get good as get rich.
Yeah.
The invasion cycle for Magic, I spent over 700 quid on.
Yeah.
And still probably wouldn't have been able to compete at the top levels.
Yeah.
But Netrunner, I haven't spent that on my entire collection, and I own every card.
Yeah. But you've got equally as much chance as the next person. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you always get that difference between a TCG and a LCG.
Yeah. Which is why that particular conspiracy theory probably doesn't hold that much weight, because there are actually 3 different markets, and I think as bad as Wizard have been at some of their decision making in the past, I think they are very aware that is a different market. As you said, living card game is a very different thing to a collectible card game. The other little caveat to that, though, is that Cyberpunk 2077 has just been announced at E3.
Okay, yeah.
Netrunner, the original one that the IP is based on, the FFG had to buy out.
Yeah, so this is where it gets complicated.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So actually, the game we refer to as Netrunner is Android Netrunner.
Yeah.
Android is a setting
Yes.
that Fantasy Flight have used for various games.
Mm-hmm.
Most recently, New Angeles. So it contains some of the artwork, but none of the mechanics. So the setting, the artwork, but none of the mechanics of Netrunner. Netrunner by Richard Garfield was the mid-90s cyberpunk hacking game, and so the license was for the rules and also the name recognition.
Yes.
Because Richard Garfield, the guy who invented magic, interestingly, having a look back, he said he invented, or he came up with the idea for Netrunner to have more interaction because he thought that was something that Magic sorely lacked, and he always said that Netrunner was the better game.
Yeah.
Which he wasn't wrong.
No. The asymmetry totally sets it apart from all the rest of them.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. And we might talk about some of the other games we've tried, because I've tried 2 other living card games in the last year and a half, and neither of them have clicked for various reasons. So Netrunner was based on Cyberpunk 2020.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Talsorian Games.
Yes.
Role-playing tabletop.
Yeah. Who own the Netrunner tile, so own Ice and Icebreaker, even though that's a William Gibson term, but because of weird legal loopholes, they own those terms for gaming.
Do they really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So they're either part of Wizards of the Coast, or it's a joint licensing deal with FFG that allowed them to use his Android Netrunner in the future.
Yeah.
So there's suspicion, because CD Projekt Red had done Gwent in the past for The Witcher, that they're going to do something similar with Cyberpunk 2077, where they're basically going to put Netrunner in Cyberpunk 2077, which would be amazing, but probably not going to happen. Or they're going to release another, Wizards of the Coast want to release a Cyberpunk-based game using that name, set in that universe.
Yeah, because you can play a Netrunner in the upcoming video game. It's one of the 3 classes, because you've got solo techie
and
Netrunner. Yeah.
The interesting thing that I've heard, because I was talking to a friend of mine in the gaming industry at Euros, is that they have licensed the Cyberpunk world from the point of view of, I think, 2059 or 2057 onwards.
Yeah.
And the Artaslorian Games still own the license for all of the time up until that point. So actually, any one of these people could be releasing a Netrunner game.
Yeah.
I don't think it's likely to happen.
No.
But I think it's just simply FFG didn't want to pay as much as Wizards wanted. Whether that's Wizards have massively spiked what it is, because
they're expecting some kind of cyberpunk.
Yeah, and buying a 6-year license for an IP that is effectively dead is not going to be very expensive.
Yeah.
Compared to this IP is actually now quite big and worth something. So
there's also the fact that FFG have now been bought out by Asmodee.
Yes, this is conspiracy theory 7 now. I think we're at.
Which means that Wizards of the Coast, who are owned by Hasbro, there might be some kind of parental argument going on there. Or Wizards of the Coast have just gone, well, Asmodee only, they've got lots of money, we're going to ask you for more money. Or Asmodee equally may have gone to Wizards of the Coast and gone, no, we want better terms for this. We want a longer license.
We've got a decent legal team on this now.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I think actually, you kind of touched on the thing that Wizards' main competitor for Netrunner is not another card game.
No.
Because most of the people I know who play Magic have stopped playing Magic and then instead started playing board games.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Of which FFG, I looked at my collection the other day, and actually probably 70% of the games I've got are FFG done, even down to the, hey, that's my fish that I bought my son for Christmas.
Yeah.
So literally 70% of it are FFG based, which it could very well be screw you.
And it's interesting because FFG also recently lost the Games Workshop license that they had with loads of tie-in stuff.
Yeah, that's because Games Workshop kind of did them a bundle deal. For
you can have all our shiny things.
And there was a miniatures exclusivity agreement in there. So while this was going on, they couldn't make that Star Wars game that they've come out with last year. So that is, I mean, it annoys me in particular because there are several of the role-playing books that I still can't get hold of without spending 150 frigging quid. I feel really lucky because they re-released a brand new edition of Fury of Dracula like 3 months before they cancelled the
the license.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah, you know that Fury of Dracula where Collins like bent all the cards back to riffle shuffle.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
yeah.
makes me angry.
Yeah.
It's because that game's worth like 200 quid now. It's like the second most expensive thing in my flat.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't sell it. I want to play the game. But yeah, it's just a bit odd. Now that's all a bit like negative and a bit sad.
Yeah.
But on the positive side, FFG maintained the license for Android and the world, so the characters that you like are still up for grabs. The setting, and we'll talk about the setting probably, I would have thought, under the things we like about A&R. I don't want to call it Netrunner anymore, because that belongs to a different company. They didn't do any of it. But they're also, FFG have just released their own proprietary role-playing system that's kind of like a GURPS or Fate-esque adaptable. You can kind of play anything with it. They're going to be releasing an Android-based supplement for that, so you can role-play in those worlds. Yeah. Which is good. And until then, you can play the Sprawl, which we reviewed a few months ago, and we're doing on the channel. I just ran a game for slightly dodgy people who want to murder everything. It's fun. So
Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Yeah, Carl rolled his eyes when I started plugging.
So I'm wondering if in the FFG RPG you'll be able to play Netrunner to represent hacking in the same way as you could play Netrunner to represent hacking in Cyberpunk 2020.
Oh, yeah, I remember
Yeah.
We never actually did it because it's much easier to just go, right, okay, we'll do the hacking as part of the game rather than, right, everyone else sit to the side for an hour while we crack out a quick game of Netrunner.
Yeah, so we mentioned briefly earlier the problems then in getting hold of stock, because at this moment in time it is not worth Fantasy Flight printing lots and lots of stuff because it's not going to have the ongoing support that is needed. I'm sure they will maximise the use of what they've got, but presumably once something is gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
And so we talked about Rain and Reverie. No Australian Rain and Reverie?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's because there's no rains down in Australia. There'll be
That's
loads in
specific.
Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, so you knew where I was going. So I've actually pre-ordered it twice. I've pre-ordered it from my friendly local gaming store, the one that is actually friendly.
Yeah.
And I pre-ordered one from some random company on the internet that claimed to still be getting them in. Because lots of places the pre-order is sold out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you guys made attempts to...
I've got a Netrunner subscription service that I was signed up to.
Okay.
So annoyingly, I only signed up to at the start of the Katara cycle.
Yeah.
So basically, as soon as a pack hits their shelves, they take $12.95 out of my bank account and put the thing in the post.
$12.95 is a bargain.
And they said that they'll honour that for deluxe boxes as well.
Really?
So I'm getting Rain and Reverie apparently for $12.95.
Yeah, so the world of Android will continue, which brings us really to the why Netrunner was good section of the podcast. So we'll start with the setting. I really like the setting, not just because it's cyberpunk, because there's lots of cyberpunk stuff out there, because of the way they've gone about doing cyberpunk.
It's wonderfully asymmetrical, like the game.
Yeah,
It's they've set it in a city that is incredibly diverse and has got people from all over the world.
Yes.
Any kind of sex identification, whatever you can think of. There's somebody that exists in the groups of those people that exist in that city.
Yeah.
But it's also horribly dystopian that own by
Yes.
by companies that are mistreating everybody and putting them dirt.
So it represents all walks of humanity as equally fucked by the horrible future, which is great. And I think we touched slightly on the community earlier when we were comparing it to Magic the Gathering. Because you have a game that is so inclusive and a game that is so willing to do what I would consider the right thing with its approach to diversity, that attracts a certain kind of people, and it just so happens that people that respect other people's difference aren't toxic bastards. Who'd have thought? Who would have thought? I don't know.
But yes, I mean, I must admit, when my friend first had a box, I looked at that box and said, "Oh, what's that? Let's have a quick game." It was like, "Oh." Pull the box out, pull the artwork and think, oh, this is so different. Because I actually looked at play the game first before actually going into the whole history about it. And then it's like, oh, it's something that's not fantasy based, not dwarves, wizards, fighting dragons,
all
that lot. Yeah, it's something that's like, but it's cyberpunk with slight differences. And obviously, I grew up in the 80s, and in there we had Blade Runner and Mad Max and all that sorts, and it was like, wow, yeah, this is the setting is right back where I enjoy that kind of thing, which is totally different from anything else I've played, to be honest with you. I play a lot of card games, and that asymmetric feel just suddenly grabbed me. I played one game, I was hooked straight away. I wanted to know how to do the influence, how to do the stuff, because he taught me the core base using the core standard set, the startup set that you actually play with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of other asymmetrical games then.
I can't think of any asymmetrical 2-player games off the top of my head.
I think quite a few board games that are played asymmetrically. Mysterium comes to mind immediately, but it's cooperative.
Yeah, but it's normally like on a sort of GM to other players kind of base. Like one person plays a very different game to what a group of other people do.
Curse of the Penguin, which Cara and I played
Curse of the
Euros, and we both immediately bought for our children.
What was it?
Curse of the Penguin.
So it's Icecall's. The design of Icecall's, it's Icecall's next game.
Check out our review. It's really funny. I wrote a skip.
And well, sure, I actually brought it along. Basically, now the Penguins have gone off. They've graduated from school. Now they decide to run into this the Penguins' tomb or somewhere to nick all their treasures.
Nice.
Inside there's a mummy.
Okay.
So the mummy tries to catch them whilst they try to run around and dig for treasures.
Yeah.
The only caveat is you play on a board where the mummy can't see where all the penguins are running. So you have a magnetic board whilst you move around and you try to catch them.
So the asymmetry of the game was really interesting. When I first played Netrunner, probably 5 and a bit years ago, when it was still very new, the asymmetry of it made my brain hurt, and I was like, I ain't playing that. No. And just went no and walked away from it.
It's got a steep learning curve.
Because it has a very steep learning curve, but it gives it so much depth.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, when I was playing at my local friendly gaming store,
Which is the same as ours.
Yes, coincidence. That's where we met. Yes.
The Hobbit Hole. There we go in Chatteris. Very good place. Go there, buy things. They're very nice.
When I play with, because I sometimes play Magic there. Have a quick round when I try to introduce them to the Netrunner game. The majority that really likes Magic can't get into this concept of asymmetric. They can't get their head around the options, I guess, because they're so used to. I've got my set of cards. I know how to control everything and every single possibility, and know what are the inferior cards. Whereas suddenly you play Netrunner, it's like, it's totally different. I can't control my side of the core plan and what a runner may or may not do. Yeah, it's very different to those type of players, which is why I think that's a good and a bad thing in the community. You have to get certain type of players to like Netrunner, and those will tend not to be, like you say, the guys that likes Magic and that type of.
Yeah, I mean, Netrunner's a game of hidden information as well, and if you're a Magic player, the only thing you don't know is what's in your opponent's hand. Yeah. Whereas with Netrunner, it's I don't know what's in their hand, but there's all this face down stuff. As well. But how do I find out what it is where you go and interact with it?
Yeah, and as Richard Garfield himself said, he wanted more player interaction, and I love the fact that I can bluff people.
Yeah.
And those who are long-time followers of the podcast and the channel will know I love games that let me lie to my friends. Because I wasn't helped enough as a child, and I have a lot of issues that I get to work out on the gaming table. But I just like, you spend most of your life being honest, hopefully. So there's a thrill to bluffing. People that like things like poker for that. You can play poker mathematically, and that's probably the best way to play poker. But I like when I play poker and I'll just suddenly raise from nowhere, and everyone will look at me, and I'm like, nah. You don't know. Was I bluffing then? Am I bluffing now? And it has that feel to it, but magnified.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy the fact that you can. And it's one of the things I think Netrunner has actually kind of sorted itself out when we said the meta's changed and the decks that are coming out changed. There were decks that kind of played themselves, and you just kind of soloed on your own until you were ready to win the game. It's like Andy DLR.
Which I took to Euros last year.
Yeah, which just milled your opponent out without them really having a chance. There were
Yeah,
CI.
CI is
World
probably
X.
the closest that's there, but it's not quite so bad, I don't think, because you can play a card, and if they don't have the right thing in hand, then you can shut it down and make them discard 20 cards in one go, like I did to someone once. It was fun.
I had a similar game at Euros against CI.
Yeah. But it took them 5 minutes to decide what they were keeping.
Yeah.
Well, that's the trouble when you've got
That
30
is the
cards in
problem.
your hand and you've got to discard down to 5. That's a lot of choice.
Yeah.
But there's also a risk to that, because if you overdraw and that happens, suddenly you've not got a lot of cards to go till you've milled yourself out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it can be tricky.
Yeah, funny enough, I did play in the DLR deck last year. I did enjoy going against CI. I was like, yeah, fine, you draw all you like, mate. You lose another 4.
Yeah. I remember we when we went to the store championship, Aaron, and I joked on the podcast that I was going to play some kind of shitty solo deck and it'd be rubbish and everyone would be playing really horrible things.
Yeah.
And the first thing I played was Mark Mottram. Who is known within the community for being a very good player, playing his anti-DLR. I was like, I hate Netrunner, I hate competitive play. But I did all right, and I won a mat. Unlike you scrub.
I got a box, it's fine.
It's
Commiseration box, but it was something.
I got a box as well.
That's alright, I've got a box as
The
well.
boxes are pretty useful, to be honest. My rotated cards are in one.
We talked a little bit about. I mean, we touched on the community.
The community is the best thing about it by far.
Yes.
Every time someone new comes on Netrunner Dorks, I was like, basically, welcome to the best community on the planet, and I'm not being facetious.
Yeah. I've only encountered one person in the community that I genuinely disliked, and that was online on Netrunner Dorks, and I just blocked them, and it was really good. But they went away.
That's the only person I've met. One person online who last week was making disparaging comments about minorities, and the entire community just basically turned around and went, "Yeah, that's not how life works." But every other person I have met, if I've played you at Netrunner, I would happily go to the pub with you, and quite probably have.
Yeah.
Unless you're a good player, in which case I haven't played you, but I might have been to the pub.
And actually, the reason I invited all the people that are local that play Netrunner is because I wouldn't know you guys without Netrunner. We wouldn't have hung out. We spent hours together playing games, having fun, laughing at Aaron being terrible, combing our beards, eating tiramisu with a long spoon. But we've spent a lot of time playing this game together, and we will play something else together afterwards.
Having Joe moan at my not so meta decks, random combos.
That is a thing as well, is that Netrunner has this brilliant space where you can create these super competitive on meta decks that take into account all the latest cards and all the trends and all that kind of stuff. Or there's this amazing amount of space, especially as it's grown, where you can just come up with these 3 cards work really well together under a full moon if you're licking your elbow at the same time. And you'll lose 9 out of 10 games, but that one game where it works, you just punch in the air.
That's exactly why I was going to create the Always Be Janking Netrunner channel, which I've actually created on YouTube, but never done anything with.
Everyone, go and subscribe on YouTube to Always Be Janking, and we can have a ghost channel with the most subscribers.
No, if people subscribe, I will actually start releasing content.
Okay. How many people?
If 15 people subscribe, I will make at least 1 video.
Cool. Bear with me.
But actually, for every 10 people who subscribe, I will make 1 video with a different guest on each time.
Awesome.
Because the idea is basically find the people who love playing jank decks, get them to pick their favourite jank deck of the moment, and then we just play on Jinteki until it works. And that's the one I release.
Okay. Yes, and be like, this is the best.
But if your deck wins more than 1 game in 3, it's not jank.
Okay. Even when we were playing weekly, and we've got quite a small group. At most, there were sort of ever 6 or 7 of us.
Yeah.
There was always something new each week, and
Yes.
you could always be bringing a different deck, or you could be tweaking it, and you could be pulling things in. And so there was, as I said, the space around it to sort of play around and have fun and do silly things. Was really there. The other thing I really liked about it, so I actually really like the LCG release model and how it works, because with a CCG, the collectible, we've talked about this quite a few times, so I won't go too much into it, but the collectible is what puts me off. Because I don't like to lose, full stop, end of sentence. I especially don't like to lose if it's because the other person's bought better cards than me. Not because they're a better player than me. I can put up with being beaten by a better player than me. Or sometimes people get lucky or whatever, but that's fine. But if they've just gone and spent all their money on shinier toys and they win, well, that's not skill.
Yeah.
Ironically, Cyberpunk is probably the best setting for a CCG because money talks. And it would reflect dystopian capitalism, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, the LCG model is why I play. I played the original Netrunner back when I was at uni with my friend Paul, and in fact, most of my housemates from that house, we all played Netrunner. And we were students, so we were all equally broke.
Yeah.
So it was okay.
Yeah.
Because no one was going out and buying 3 booster boxes or whatever.
Which people do. I mean, I you see people when they go when a new Magic expansion comes out, and it's not you can buy a pack for £3. It's here's £99, buy a box of booster packs.
I did it when 8 came out. I split a box of booster packs with a friend of mine. Spent £30 on it. First card I pulled was a shiny Bird of Paradise, so immediately I'd made my money back. But
but then if you sell them, and I've actually seen, I know shops, and I'm not judging this in any way, I'll leave that to you three, but they buy extra boxes, open them all up in the shop, and then they put them for individual card sale immediately.
Yeah.
So all the lands just go in the 10p for a land box that's, bigger than my flat. Yeah. But they immediately start putting out the rares and stuff. And in a way that's fine actually, because if you want a specific card, being able to get hold of it is good.
Yeah.
But another way it's kind of like, well, if they're making more money than they've paid for the thing, it just feels a little bit weird.
Artificially inflated market.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's part of the reason why the gaming shop in Bedford went under, because it was out of the way, so it wasn't getting a lot of foot traffic, but they did an awful lot of their business in singles, and they had an awful lot of singles still left.
Yeah.
But you can't charge too much for them, because people will go, no, I'll just buy booster packs and hope to get lucky.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age as well, where that people just pull out their phone, load up eBay and go, that's worth £2.49.
Yeah.
That's what it's selling at the moment. In fact, there's websites that track the price of cards, aren't there?
There's apps, there's loads.
Kick-ass graphs.
Well, even in the 90s, you used to be able to get a magazine from every month. They used to give you a track of how much each card was worth, roughly.
I was reading very different magazines in the 90s.
Scribe, White Dwarf and Wizard were generally my choices. The others, well, they're the ones I paid for. The others I found in a hedge, as is traditional when you're 14.
Yeah. Because everyone has access to the same pool for the same amount of money. Obviously, if you've got no money at all, there's still that disparity and there's still that race to keep up with everything. But I never felt £15 a month during a cycle and £30 in the couple months in between is fine.
Yeah, it's harsh to get into halfway through. So
someone who started 2 years ago and now has a complete collection, yes, it is.
You started about the same time as I did, because both me and Paul went, oh, there's a new Netrunner game coming out.
Yeah.
Both bought a core set, did nothing with it for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, we'll play a bit. There's data packs out. We should buy a few. And then we each bought one. Then we each bought another. And then completely independently, we both went out and bought every card that existed. And my ex-wife was not impressed.
I have a spreadsheet on this laptop that has all of the packs and cycles on, and I was colouring them in green as I bought them. And my whole plan was, because rotation had been coming for like a year and it still wasn't out for it, was not to buy any of the first 2 cycles. But then you need
Apart from the Jackson Howard.
So you buy that. But then you're like, I've got this really cool idea for this Jinteki deck, and it needs this card. And they've got that. And I ended up, when rotation was about to hit, I think I bought 4 packs out of the 12 that went away, and I had the full lot. And that was cheaper than having to buy more cores, basically.
Yeah,
you got a load off me.
Yes, I bought my 3rd core off of you in a like a plastic bag, like it was drugs. It was like a little baggie, Ziploc.
Did he keep the counters for himself?
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
I'm going to steal the counters in the random box, so I don't know who it belongs to make up for it.
No,
I have enough counters.
Talking of which, that point because it's a living card game, I went and bought it the totally different way. I bought a core. I played with a core. I went to the game store to play a competition and games night with a core only, and I somehow managed to win. But
That's because you're great.
That I think that was more. You know how the first time you try something, you win, and then it gets you hooked. And ever since I've been that hooked and tried to get me in.
There's something to be said for being so off meta that no one knows how to deal with you anymore.
There is that. Yeah. There was that problem, I think. And then because then the next thing that happened was when I met with you guys was what I really liked was the charity gift event.
Yes.
Where it's so diverse. You get any ID randomly picked, and then that's when I had to build a deck. And had to buy some packs to actually complement just the core because it wasn't going to quite work with just the core deck. But that was the beauty of the LCG that I found because I didn't really have to buy anything that I didn't really want to. I hadn't tested out all the IDs. I just know things I wanted.
And I'm sure there's kitchen table players, as they get referred to, who are out there still playing with cores and Jackson Howard and something else they picked up because it looked fun, and that's absolutely fine. You can get as much into it or as little into it as you like. I do think that it comes with a drawback for the continued future of the game in that if things aren't being released, we're all kind of used to what's next. Here's some spoilers. Here's the post on FFG's website. Oh, this is how this is going to define the meta. Everything is going to get frozen in stone.
Yeah, and it'll start to stagnate.
And it will start to stagnate. And I've got a couple of ideas on how you can play around with that, which we'll discuss later. But it is a bit of a worry because the game is built on that kind of, oh, I've got this new thing. Oh, I've got this new thing. Oh, I've got this new thing.
Yeah.
Oh, have you seen this thing does this with that and then that? Unless it's jank. So... Yeah.
Well, I think now, if the game is going to stop getting official support, now is the best time when, like, we're preparing for Euros, and Joe was talking to someone who is in the know, and we're like, well, what's good for a runner? And he's like, well, lots of things.
Yeah.
Well, he said you can't play a bad runner, I think was the comment.
Yeah. Well, unless you play Exile, who is permanently terrible.
Yeah. There's no bad runner choice, was the thing he came up with.
Who's the guy who loses all his money when you rest things out?
I don't even know how to play him. Nasser, yeah.
Yeah, now there's no personal workshop. I don't think he's...
Right. My idea for Nasir was to load him up with turtles, right? Have no money, and then you run. Because the only thing that will stop him and end the run is a vanilla. Is it vanilla? Zero cost? Yeah, 0 cost, end the run. He doesn't get any money. Otherwise, hopefully, you'll get enough money to break all the subroutines on the ice that it was just rest.
Either that, or you take a load of those new virus icebreakers, which don't use money.
We've finally made Nazir work. Oh,
game's over. Is that why they ended it?
Yes, they were like, we've solved Netrunner.
Run Last Click was about to hit 100 episodes, and the series solved, nothing left to be done.
But we say about that idea of things being solved. Actually, Netrunner to me also feels like, yes, you've got the bluffing and the interaction, but it's a big puzzle. And
can I get in? If so, how?
How do I get in? How do I do that? What could it be? What can't it be? Because I never got to the point of counting influence pips on my opponent's cards that I've seen them play, which is I felt was always like my next step, and I never quite got there.
It's easy enough to be like, well, I've seen you've played 2 biotic labours, so I know that you've either got and you've got 3 bits of ice I can see on the table, so I know you don't have a third.
Yeah, I never got to that.
Fair enough.
My brain never clicked in until about 2 minutes after I lost and went, that couldn't have been that because.
Did you get to the point where you could you knew what they didn't have in there because you knew they'd seen their unicorn card?
Yes.
Because that is the step before counting
influence. But that's a very new thing, isn't it?
That's very new. That's something I keep forgetting. I know. I forgot that a lot in that Euro.
I'm just really happy it's a unicorn card because I'm not going to lie, people, I fucking love unicorns. With that came, there's that level of mastery, isn't it? It always felt like Netrunner was kind of like a leveled game in the sense that people with different levels could still play and have a great time. It's not like a black belt punching a white belt in the face and they just die. But you were building a skill. You were mastering the game.
So I think my first competitive experience was a GNK in Milton Keynes, and me and Paul went along because we were both like, okay, we've like been playing for a while, and he was like, I think you'll do quite well because I beat him like 9 times in 10. We turned up, he was the only person I beat all night.
Yeah.
I lost 2 games, he lost 2 games, we got paired up against each other in the Swiss. I won, it was his birthday, I felt a little bad. He didn't win a single game all day, so you can, as a white belt, get very punched in the face.
Yeah.
So I was seeing things that were like, I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah. But I always felt like seeing things like that made me go, oh, I could do that, because
Yes.
I didn't have to spend £800 on a Black Lotus.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
It was always, if you got hit by something, I mean, I rage sometimes about ridiculous stuff or stuff that feels ridiculous, but then I can do that, and so it's fine. And actually, quite a lot of stuff, there's not as much gotcha in Netrunner, in the sense that, in theory, everyone knows the entire card pool. Does anyone know the entire card pool for Magic?
Standard possible.
For a given cycle, like the invasion cycle,
Yeah.
yes, I probably could have done that at the time.
Yeah.
But that was one of the 3 legal cycles
Yeah.
at the time. So
But you're
Yeah.
also probably thinking, well, he's got one of those. It's a rare. He's probably not got another one. So there's another added complication to that. Yeah. So you had that idea that you could master Netrunner. You could get better at
Yeah.
it. Whereas I never felt. I've played a bit of Magic recently. I mentioned a while ago in a podcast, and I'm just kind of playing what's in my hand. I'm drawing cards, and I'm kind of having a game. It's fine. It's fine, but it's not. I don't feel like I would be any better having played 50 games.
I think a lot of Magic is in the deck building
Yes. Yeah.
and the card owning,
Yeah.
as we mentioned. So because you've got 1 card a turn, you've got a set amount of mana. What you can do is very much determined by what card it is you've drawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with Netrunner, you can just go, I don't have a card that is useful in this situation, so rather than play a card that is not quite so useful just because I've got it and otherwise my mana goes to waste, you can go, I'm going to go and get another one. And something someone pointed out the other day I think it was on Facebook, that Netrunner is one of the few games where your economy carries over from turn to turn.
Yes.
So Netrunner,
Yeah.
all your mana untaps, and you can use it again fresh each turn.
Yeah.
Netrunner, credits you finish with are probably the credits you start with your next turn with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unless
Or
someone
less.
pieces on time, or less. if you
Yeah.
recall.
Generally, your resources will go down in the other person's turn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless someone plays game loss in our time.
Yeah. But you're more likely to have to res
Yeah.
ice, or to have all your accounts closed.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. Yeah, so it felt to me like Netrunner was a unique game. I'd never played anything else quite like it, and that was part of the appeal. Whereas you get a lot of, we've played a lot of board games
Yes.
recently in the last two and a half years, Aaron,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm starting to be like, oh, it's just a hidden role worker placement game.
Yeah,
with dice roll. That sounds alright. It's a bit
Yeah,
of a
yeah.
nice mix. But you start to spot patterns. Netrunner
Yeah.
doesn't quite fit. It's almost like it's being deliberately sort of obtuse in its own way.
Yeah.
Does it feel like hacking?
It feels like hacking in the Cyberpunk 2020 version of hacking.
Yes.
It is not like hacking as in real life hacking, because most of that is relying on someone being stupid and putting a USB drive they found in the car park in their PC.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I wonder though, just to switch things up a little bit, is it a good time for Netrunner to finish then? Because it's over 1,000 cards big now. Is there much space left for them to play with? Are there areas this could have gone into? Are we reaching a point where actually it would need a proper second edition, or it's going to go stale anyway because it, to get properly involved is too big?
If you'd have asked me this before the Katara cycle,
Yeah.
I would have said yes, maybe.
Yeah.
Now I would say no, because there's loads of stuff they've done in this cycle that is okay. They might be going along similar concepts as some of the rotated cards, but they've been done better.
Yeah. I
So-
think they've been adding depth to a lot of, like the viruses.
Yeah, and
Um,
the new version of Account Siphon
Yes.
is, yes, okay, it's in the same kind of mind space as Account Siphon, but it's not as swingy
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not as crap, I only had one piece of ice that didn't have anything to put on HQ. Oh, you're a shaper, you've just pulled out an account siphon. That's me, you're a bit fucked for the game.
I remember turn
Yes.
one account siphons. When we were first learning,
Yeah.
when we were sat at my old work, skiving and playing Netrunner. I can say this now.
That's just no one from your new work, listen.
But I wouldn't do that in my new job because I don't work with anyone who plays Netrunner. I remember being new and that first turn account siphon is like someone's just punched you in the face.
Yeah.
And it's a good learning experience,
Ice
But-
HQ.
but it can also be really off-putting. And that reminds me slightly of Magic in that Magic often has a thing where one player races ahead. They get the right land, and then they put down a big scary monster. You can't deal with it, and it just eats all your stuff.
Yeah.
And they've won really quickly.
Yeah.
And account siphon used to do that, I feel.
Yeah. So I do like the... Yeah, I mean, that's a good example of the way the card pool is improving. So they've taken out the annoying, makes new players hate the game account siphon and put in a better one.
Yeah, and it's also not in core, so it's not what people are learning with.
Yes.
The core set itself, I think,
Yeah.
is actually better balanced. They've taken out Scorched Earth, because that was the other way that you got randomly punched in the face.
Yeah, I took 2 training decks into work, 2 of the big boy training decks in the Wayland and I think the Shaper once. And one guy turn 1 ran last click, even though I had advised him not to.
Yeah.
Hit a snare, turn 2, caught, drew a Scorched Earth.
Yeah.
GG. Congratulations, Ronnie. You got precisely 1 turn.
Yeah.
You effectively had 4 clicks of actions each. Not how the game normally goes.
Yeah.
One guy never played again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was actually the guy that scorched, never played again.
Because actually, it's not always the person who is on the receiving end of that who is put off by it, because they go, "Oh, you're dead." Well, I was looking forward to this game that was going to be interesting, and I've just killed you really quickly.
Yeah.
I've been put off by stuff being too easy before,
Yeah.
and actually, it could then be the other way around as well in Netrunner.
And also, I've got a friend who won his first ever game of Magic the Gathering and went, "That's it, never playing again." I
Yeah.
was like, "Why? I thought you enjoyed it." He's like, "Yeah, but I've got 100% win rate." Any other game I play is eventually going to knock that 100%, and I could not get back to it.
So always
Right, I
beat
see your
people
point of view.
first time, but closely. That's the lesson we have learned.
Yeah.
So that's some of the things that we love about Netrunner. I'm sure other things will probably occur to us as we go along. Very quickly then, how was your experience of what is now the very final official European Championships of Netrunner, held at the UK Games Expo in early June 2018, where Aaron and I were running around recording videos. Go and watch them. It's the second time. If you say something enough, people do it. Tiring, yeah. We looked at the schedule and we were like, they're playing Netrunner for like, how long was it? Was it from 9:30 in the morning
we got there
10:30?
at, what, 9 in the morning.
9,
yeah.
Registration finished at 10.
Didn't start till about 11:30.
Yes, there were some problems.
there was about 11.
Yeah, so we got round 1 out of the way, and then because everybody on the internet was checking the standings on
the same
Cobra,
time.
We were actually
it basically
denial
took
of
the site
service.
offline. Yeah, someone DDoSed us.
I
Yeah.
think you DDoSed yourselves. Yeah.
Well, no, it wasn't us. It wasn't the people playing, because there was only 250 people there. It was everybody who wasn't there trying to see what the standings were. It's like, where's Chris Dyer placed? Where's Rufus placed? Where's this person placed?
Yeah, looking
Where's
for their
all the
friends,
big
looking
names?
for the big names
Yeah.
in the game. Yeah, yeah.
And so we had to take a break for about an hour and a half while they tweaked the server and
Yes.
I imagine blocked a lot of people.
Yeah.
And
As their
then
eyes.
I
They had to click for credits for a couple turns.
yeah,
to
they
those
iced the
guys,
server,
yeah.
and then we were kind of fine. But then we had lunch. Then we played 3 more rounds. Then we had another break. At which point there wasn't even anywhere to get any dinner because everywhere had closed.
Even though they said it'd be open
Even though
till
they said that
midnight,
it'd be open
yeah,
till
not
midnight.
the runners of the tournament, but the people.
Games Expo.
The Games Expo.
And we finished about 11:30 because I think we got back to the hotel at about midnight.
No, it was closer to midnight. I'm pretty sure. Because we were getting chucked out. Literally, the
Oh,
last round
that's
we
right,
weren't
yeah.
getting chucked out because it was past midnight. We were just hitting past midnight, so everyone was rushing the game. Because I remember my last game was like, oh, it's last round. Never mind, I just slipped.
Yeah.
I was playing Genteke, so I just went install. Oh, take your random pick. Some are traps, some are agendas. You hit the trap, well, sorry. If you hit the agendas, you win. And it was like that. It was pretty much like that.
I can't imagine, because when I played Charity Gift, I mean, it was my first tournament, but I got murdered because I had count siphoned on my last click against an Argus deck and just got scorched earth immediately.
They must have been like, oh my god, this is the best
And
game.
I was like, I'm such an idiot. Because he just clicked back up to enough credits and just bring me. And I'm like, I play Argus all the time. What am I doing? So no, that's it. It looked like it'd be a bit of an endurance.
Mentally was quite bad. I mean, lots of people then dropped, and then it was mentally. I think because it was my first Euros, and in fact, it was my first real big competitive gaming of Netrunner. I mean, I've been to
Store championship
level, but that's about it. I haven't been to regionals or national, but that Euro and then suddenly playing for that long, obviously the usual nerves kicked in, and then after the nerves of losing the first game was like, oh god damn it, I got swept. It's like then the pressure was on to win your first game, get your first points. I was like, damn it.
I feel the exact opposite, because whenever I've played competitively, I've got hammered in the first game and I've gone, oh, that's it, fine, the day's ruined then, and then I play much more relaxed and then start to hope again after about 3 games, doing the old submarine and sink the bottom, rise back up.
You wouldn't sink as much as I did. I sinked over 100 places.
Yeah.
My first game I was on table 9, and then round 2 I was on 107.
So you were ranked like 214 at that point.
I got a bit. It was very weird. First round, we were just like, okay, I'm on like table 6, and he's like, I'm on table 7. Joe's on table 5, and my mate Andy's on table 4.
Oh, nice.
And then a guy I know from the Milton Keynes meta, he was on table 10. So like 2 places either side of me were people I knew. 250 people at this fucking event.
Did someone like send a message out like, oh, has everyone got their tickets, and you all went and bought them at the same time?
Well, we did all register in a row.
Yeah.
But
I bought my ticket. Mine was actually the last ticket. I was actually talking to these guys. I said, yeah, I'm definitely going. I'm going. I say I've been going for ages. It's like, I've got like 3 days left. And it's like, I better take a look on there. And it says 240 has been sold. I look, maximum capacity 250. Oh, 250. I thought it's unlimited, 250. But it didn't quite hit into me. And then I was chatting to these guys. I said, there's like 240 odds being sold. Oh, I better buy one now. quick.
Made me paranoid. I was can't remember what I was doing, but I immediately stopped and just went, right, message your conversation, fuck off. Right, email, Netrunner. Like, there must be a ticket here. I must have bought. Yes, I did. I bought it in like September, but
So it was fun.
Yes,
it was fun.
It was definitely fun.
Last year the structure was better.
Yeah.
So what they did last year was you played 6 games or 6 matches. If you got 18 points from those 6, then which is effectively winning 6 games or 5 and 3 timed wins or whatever. Then if you got that, then you went through to day 2, where there was another 4 rounds of Swiss.
Yeah.
And then if you got through that, they did the top 16 cut.
In the final day.
Yeah. So that was fine. I turned up, I played 6 games, I was a little bit tired, but we finished at 4. So there was still time, or 6 or something, so there was still time to go and get some food afterwards.
And do some like the open gaming.
Yes,
and
exactly.
And
other activities that are about,
Just let your brain rest a little bit.
But apparently people complained because they felt that they got cheated out of some games of Netrunner because they didn't get all of the Swiss.
Yeah, they only got 6, not the 10 or whatever.
But then we played 8.
We played 8.
And people were just walking out.
Yeah.
Because it'll be different people, but
it'll be different people, but you know.
Yeah. 7's the magic number.
Apparently, maybe 7's a magic number, or like, okay, fine, play 10, but do all of the Swiss over 2 days.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I think
But
with
8
it
in
having
one
it
day.
on 2 days rather than over all 3, potentially if you do well, does give you a day if you're there for the weekend, because it's part of another event to go and do some stuff in the middle. But actually Saturday's the worst day to go and do the gaming expo, because it is essentially just a mouthful of other people's armpits for 5 hours.
But let's face it though, if they do day 1 initial, day 2 gradiated Swiss, day 3 top cut, initial one of those 16 people in the top cut, you have the Sunday to go and explore the expo.
Yeah, and that's never going to be me up there.
Yeah.
And it won't take
if I
that long
did get
anyway,
there,
Jesse.
I would quite happily go, you know what, this is the stuff I want to buy, can someone go and grab it for me?
Looking back, and this is probably the benefit of the hindsight, I think maybe some of the writing was on the wall when we looked at the prize support for Euros, which was Dyer.
Compared to...
not Chris Dyer, he didn't win a Chris Dyer, or Danny Dyer. Or Danny Dyer, his daughter.
I think I'd rather have Chris Dyer. He might be able to teach me to play Netrunner better. Well, I don't know what I'd do with either of the Danny Dyers.
Well, the daughter.
Yeah, but that's a little bit weird and wrong. And very unethical. So, moving swiftly on.
If she talks like her dad, that'd be horrible.
So Legend of the Five Rings got playmats as participation prizes.
What? If you turned up, they gave you a 15 quid thing.
Yeah.
But then again, I did hear there was a lot of people who turned up, played one round, and then went, "This is way more complicated than I thought it was. I can't actually play this competitively." So that only did one round. I've got my playmat. I can say I've been here. My brain hurts. I'm going home.
Yeah. Which never happened to me with Netrunner. And I think Netrunner, we'll probably talk about L5R. Netrunner is an infinitely more interesting game.
We had a very fun, quick intro game.
I almost lost turn one.
Afterwards, after he was advised by a guy telling us how to play the game, you should play these cards, and then I just went, "Oh, my card says totally obliterate or counter those," so I just played it.
Counted all of my cards and then played another card that reduced me to 2 honour. And I'm like, if I lose 2 more honour, I lose the game.
So that might bring us actually to what next then. So we've said
not
we
L5R.
liked, we said we liked LCGs because we like the release model, we like the fairness of the game.
Yes.
I have played Legend of the Five Rings. Aaron and I had this amazing idea because we've jumped in on Netrunner very late. We thought, you know what, this is a new living card game. We're good at living card games. We like living card games. Let's get in on the ground floor of L5R. Let's start a podcast. Let's really become community leading figures, possibly buy fancy hats, and basically.
I'm sure there'll be prizes pretty soon.
And just basically become their everyone else in the Netrunner community who makes content, and we'd be brilliant and we'd be sorted. How many times did we play that game, Aaron?
I only played it once. Well, we might have played it twice.
We played it twice. Yeah, we had one session.
Yeah.
Where we did it twice. We bookended it.
Yeah.
It's good. And was it as bad for you as it was for me?
It was dire.
It was dire, I didn't enjoy it at all.
Yeah, I don't know, it just didn't grab. I thought it would.
You really like your...
I love Japanese mythology. I like that kind of setting.
Yeah. Whereas for me, it immediately goes, anime nerd, run away.
It's normally quite fair.
Yeah.
But,
Not that I dislike, I like anime. It's like football. I love football. I love the game of football. All the other people who like football are dicks, and I don't want to be anywhere near them.
Yeah, no, I'm the same with. Yeah, there's a lot of people who watch anime who are just weird arseholes.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's some lovely people.
But there are also some absolutely lovely people.
We don't mean you. So. If you're listening to this, then you're obviously
you can be listening on a figure, you're a knob.
This conversation is reversing.
But yeah, no, it's just I don't know.
It didn't grab me. It does that thing, or it snowballs really quickly.
Yeah,
like Magic does. Because you have your army and you attack. We were playing in the first game. We were playing it wrong anyway. The rule book was made of cheese, and was full of holes for Swiss cheese. And also, they have 2 rule books. They have a beginner's book and then the book with all the actual rules in it. And that actual book, like the glossary one, where if you want to know how something is, you look it up alphabetically. That book doesn't exist in physical format, which means they can update it and change it as needed, but it also means it's not in a fucking box, and when you're trying to learn the fucking game, you can't fucking work out how it fucking works. There's no fucking rules of fucking game.
That is actually what we found. When
Yeah,
we sat there, we thought, we play Netrunner, it can't be that hard, and we see them play the game, it's just an interaction, we got it out, got all the pieces, got the things like, actually,
we got stumped
reading
with-
this rules is hard, I can't even get past page 1.
We got stumped into getting the pieces out because we opened it was like, here is the quick play guide. One player is playing the horse faction, the other player is playing the lion faction. And I'm like, I'll call dibs on lion.
Yeah.
Neither of these are lion.
Yeah.
Instead, we've got crab and horse. Okay. Well, I guess I'll play horse.
I have to say, I was well
None of
excited
these
for
cards
crabs.
match up with the stuff that is in the book that says what cards to put out.
Yeah.
So we managed to muddle through it, and then the guy from FFG came over because we were like, help! And half the staff went, I don't know how to play that. Ask him.
Yeah.
He came over and sat with us. And
Ask the man in the
and
fancy
he was
hat.
like, he said to Kai, he said, you've got one too many on him. We're like, no, he's going second. He gets a bonus point of honour at the start. And he went, really? He was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think it's a really good idea. It just didn't work for us. I played quite a few games with Joe. I even have a couple of the first the data pack equivalents, whatever they call them. They've got a special
Cycle.
name. They've got a name for it. Yeah, I have
Clan
no
or
idea.
whatever.
Clan. I don't know. I got 2 of those. I then bought Joe the same 2 because it was his birthday and he'd already got them, so I have 2 each of those. Did you actually buy a core set of L5R, Aaron?
No.
No, because I was going to give them to you, but I didn't think you had a core set. It'd be even more ridiculous. You just have some packs. It just didn't grab us. There were. It was very badly explained. It was hard to work out what you were doing. It seemed to go on for ages, and whenever anything bad happened, it wasn't like Netrunner, where I was like, "Ooh, that's interesting." It was, I had no idea what just happened. I'm dead.
Yeah.
And I didn't enjoy it. Now, there'll be people listening who are already playing it and are into it and interested in it, and that's cool. Not knocking it. It's not for us.
Yeah.
Unless we've got it all wrong, let us know in the comments and say, how do we actually break into this game and make it kind of make sense? I also watched their first World Championship, and the guy won by being a douche, by deliberately playing like literally in slow motion.
Yeah, what do they call the person who was it? The
It's-
Kotai?
Yeah. And
Yeah, there's
they-
a load of stuff on Twitter, not my Kotai or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, and it was...
No.
Yeah, he was totally slow rolling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
And no one did
Yeah.
anything about it.
Oh.
And he was just in a position where unless the play was normal speed,
Yeah.
you couldn't win. And there were people, and this is the thing, the community, half the people were like, well, this guy's a bit of a dick. But because in L5R, you don't, like, I played every single faction in Netrunner. I wouldn't say I was a this player or that player. I prefer to play Anarch and Jinteki, they're what I enjoy the most, but I'll
Jinteki
play
for life.
anything. But
Not after Euros.
yeah, in L5R you pick a clan, and you can only bring in one other clan. You can't pick from the whole card pool and buy them with influence in the same way. You go, I've got.
I'm the horse crab clan.
Yeah, I'm horses and I have a crab splash. Ugh, that sounds disgusting.
Talking about anime nerds being wrong.
Yeah, I was accidentally wrong. And so there's actually, and you play for your clan, and the highest ranked person in each clan will move forward in events, not necessarily the highest ranked players overall. And there's this loyalty to your clan thing that I don't like and I don't enjoy, and I don't like anything that's divisive in that way. And you never get anyone in Netrunner go, oh, well, Shaper are obviously the best and you're an idiot if you think otherwise.
Everybody's got kind of respect for
Yeah.
what people can do well with other things.
So there were
in
people
Netrunner.
defending a guy basically ruining the biggest event in their game thing. I watched it. I watched the strip, and I wanted to climb into the internet and punch him. And there were people going, "Oh well, he won! Yay, Lions forever!" or whatever he was. And it's like,
I mean,
oh, shut up.
thematically, it makes sense. They're talk, it's supposed to be sort of clan.
Because it's clan based. I guess,
Yeah, but-
to stick the storyline and the thing, because the setting's really nice.
Yeah.
You get me right? The setting and the pictures and the things, it's... Yeah, well, everyone to their fancy. If you into a bit of,
I think the setting's a bit racist.
It's the same problem they have in American politics, really, isn't it?
It's
clan before game or country.
Yeah. So
Right.
we ain't going to be playing that then.
No.
So-
Although it does amuse me that last year at Euros, was it Euros or one of the other events that was going on, there was a Netrunner and L5R at the same time. Might even have been Worlds. But Dave Hoyland he placed top for his clan in L5R that he was doing to kill time because there was no Netrunner on.
Yeah.
So he made it to the top final day of both events. Like,
were they at the same time as well?
yes.
Yeah.
So he was getting ready to play Netrunner. They're like, "Are you playing this?" No. No, I'm playing Netrunner.
Yeah.
he played both in the Euros as well.
Yeah, it
I
does
saw him
surprise me.
the following day playing L5R.
Yeah, if you enjoy it, that's cool. I have also tried the Arkham Horror LCG, the Lovecraftian one. Joe and I played the first scenario. We quite enjoyed it, and then I haven't played it since, and that was 18 months ago.
Yeah, I'm not a big horror fan myself. So.
I love Lovecraft. I'm a huge Lovecraft fan, even though I acknowledge he's a bit of a dick as a human being. There's no need for me to be a dick in liking him. And you can accept that he's a bit of a dick. And actually, one of the things that they've done, because it's FFG, again, they've kind of reversed some of his discriminatory things and kind of made it more inclusive. And there's female characters and characters of different ethnicities and things, and they've kind of fixed
Apparently he
that crap a bit.
realised on his, like, when he was getting close to death that actually he'd been a dick all his life about it, and it was all because of how he was raised, and he kind of recanted a lot of his nasty views. But unfortunately, there's still a lot of the fan base still stick with the original.
Yeah, he still thought that life was nasty and kind of pointless, but he didn't think that certain people were shitter than others because of their birth. But yeah, that's Lovecraft. But I've just not played it. It just feels really fiddly, actually. Like you'll play through a series of linked scenarios together cooperatively, which is very different. So it feels more like a story-based game, even though there is organised play for it and such like.
Okay.
And like you'll edit your deck as you go, and you build up XP, and you'll swap cards in and out as you go, which is a really good idea. But then you've got to remember which card came from where, and it was a real pain in the backside just setting up for our first proper game, because you needed 7 of card 43 and 6 of card 27, and they didn't look distinct enough art wise. They're all in kind of the same art style. It was really hard to dig out the right cards to set things up, and I almost ended up writing to them to complain that one of the cards was missing, because like card 137, and it was actually between cards 4 and 5 in a different deck over there, because they just put stuff in a weird place. It just felt fiddly. And maybe playing it a bit more be good. I think it'd be the kind of thing that would be fun to play as a story-based thing with your friends. But once you played the scenario, I'm not necessarily wouldn't be that excited to go back and play it again.
Okay.
A lot of
what's going to happen next? We've broken through this door, and on the other side, it's an angry potato from outer space.
I guess it's like you wouldn't play Terminal Directive again.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, me and my regular kitchen table opponent both bought a copy of Terminal Directive, which obviously you want 3 IPOs, so you're going to do that anyway. We even got to the point where he bought a load of sticky back magnet sheets for us to make reusable
boards,
things on. Yeah, we've not played it again.
No.
We haven't even played it the second time around with me being the runner and him being the corp.
Yeah, Joe and I we played through Terminal Directive with my copy, used all the stickers and all the bits and pieces, and then the plan was to swap over and for us to have played all of the IDs in the box, so that it was all fine, but it just didn't work. It just wasn't exciting enough. And actually, people say it's the thing you get next after core. I don't think so, because it complicates the rules, because it's like, once you've done 7 of this thing, tick this box and get this extra bonus, and I don't think that helps. there was stuff that was happening that we were forgetting to do because it's on a separate little shipboard on the side of the table.
There was a few triggers that we forgot as well, and we've been playing for years, so if we're going to forget, anyone will.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I might force Aaron to play some Arkham Horror with me at some point.
Yeah, I might look at it sounds interesting. It sounds like I'd like to give it a go. But I've heard people saying similar things about it. It's like, yeah, you play it through once, it's cool, but it's not something I'd go to a tournament and play. It's not something I play regularly. It's an occasional icebreaker or just I need something different to do this weekend kind of game. Yeah,
So
sad.
So rather than they're the kind of the closest things I think to what we're looking at. We've already said no to Magic. I know there are people in the room who play a bit of Pokemon every now and then.
Yes, I play Pokemon. I play a lot of Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's actually my first actual big card game, and my nephew kind of got me into it, and now I've got a 8-year-old daughter, so I'll get her into it. And so recently I'll be getting your other Twits member into it. Big time.
Yeah.
But
that particular Twit also has a young daughter.
Yes.
Myself, I have a cat that is somewhere between 5 and 8 years old. Hey, yeah, I said your name, Cat. Looking at me now. And she doesn't like Pokemon, with the obvious exception of Jigglypuff, who is her favourite. But I think that feels to me it's a much more simpler game. It appeals to a younger audience, but as a parent, it's a great bridge to have that.
You say that, but I don't think it is simpler.
Okay,
it's simpler than Netrunner.
It's simpler than that, right?
Not simpler than Magic, for
But
instance.
no,
Yes, it is. I mean, there's
it's
still
the rules are simpler, but the choices you have. So.
But there's no interaction. That's the thing. There's no. It's your turn. It's your turn. There's nothing to interrupt and that kind of.
Okay, there's no interrupts, but there are. You can still mess with your opponent's board state. So I started playing Pokemon. I started playing Netrunner first when I was at uni, but then when I came home from uni, we all started playing Pokemon because it was out and it was interesting. And let's face it, we were a bunch of stoners with no jobs and nothing better to do. So we used to beat around my ass to play Pokemon, and actually when we eventually switched to Magic, I kind of lost a little bit. There was something missing from Magic. I mean, I enjoyed Magic back in the day when I actually had money spare. I also have a small child, but Pokemon is a very complicated game, and you can do very complicated things. So I took my son to a tournament. He played in the juniors, came like second, and I played in the adults one. Won my first game, and got paired against someone in the Swiss, against someone who his first turn took 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he wasn't slow rolling it either. These were actual legitimate 15 minutes of him playing his turn, which you don't get as a turn 1 Magic player.
No. I put down some land at the end of the game.
Put down some land. Maybe I'll play 1 card.
And even Netrunner, Eyesight Hedge Fund. There you go.
Yeah.
So.
But no, it's a CCG. So
for me, it's a CCG, and
it's a CCG.
So
and that has less appeal.
I'll turn up to the pre-release events. Are a lot of fun. If you've not been to any of them, go to one because it's quite interesting. If you know how the game works, go to one. Because it's like the LCG model, because everyone has 1 box and 3 booster packs, and what they get is what they get.
That's actually, to me, that sounds cool.
So I won't go to any of the regular events anymore because I'll take Alex. He can play because, let's face it, when you're 8 and that kind of age, mostly what you're doing is you're turning up and you're playing your shiny cards.
Yeah.
And it's not about a bit of strategy. It's about who's got the biggest shiny card that they can get powered up first.
Yeah. Is Jigglypuff any good?
I have no idea. I have not got a Jigglypuff card. I'm not even sure Jigglypuff is legal at the moment.
I said it was my cat's favourite. It's actually my favourite Pokemon.
Jigglypuff is legal. But
Jigglypuff, Wigglytuff, and then Whismur, who I wasn't aware of until today, coincidentally. And then I found a GIF of it dancing with the Jigglypuff, and I got very excited.
But that was dancing with Togepi, wasn't it?
No, it's a different GIF. Yeah.
So I'll go to the events that don't involve people spending 40 quid on a bloody Tapu Lele.
Pre-release
is
the
type of
best
fish.
It's probably also an STD in someone's
Yeah.
language, but it's basically a fun remover as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah, I mean, drafting tournaments do appeal to me from collectible card game stuff. Where right, you've got these selection of packs, open them up and then make something with it.
Yeah.
Or here's some packs you open around.
Yeah.
That's around the rainbow
They
drafted.
tried
Those
to
sound fun.
Kind of do drafting in Netrunner, didn't they? And it never caught on. And
I never
you
actually
occasionally see a lonely draft pack being
I've
sold
never
in
got
a
to
shop.
play the draft because
Yeah.
at the Euros last year they said, "Oh, for those of you who don't make day 2, we're doing draft tomorrow." So me and Paul were like, "Great, we don't need to carry decks around. We just turn up and play this." We got there. Yeah, someone forgot to bring the runner draft packs. So instead we're doing cash refresh. And we're just like, don't have any decks with me.
Yeah.
And then we turned up for cash refresh on the Sunday and I had to leave halfway through even though I was 6-0 up.
Oh no!
They very kindly gave me a couple of the prizes anyway because I was obviously going to do well. But
That's nice of them. Yeah. So, if we're not replacing it with other card games,
I noticed you didn't suggest Yu-Gi-Oh.
I forgot that that's a thing. I know
It was at
nothing
Euros. They had
about
a
it.
massive stand.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. And actually, at the at every year at the Games Expo in the hall itself, they have a massive area for it, and I've never seen it being used.
No, there's always
It's
like maybe
empty as
4
hell.
people in it tops.
They've spent really big money on huge presents, and then there's just some guys like picking their nose.
It's a
and not doing
game
anything.
that somebody can start running the turn and then beat you and it's done. You don't even get a chance to play.
Really, what you can win first.
There's
turn.
some power cards. I heard there's some power cards. I haven't played too much into it, but
There's
I haven't played in years, but it's one of those ones that I bought a couple of starter packs. We played a couple of games. And
it's
then
got
went,
really.
meh,
If
you
you're,
said no Pokemon.
if you're into the Japanese cartoon, you're into the whole anime series, it's a really nice thing. But I see the card, and I don't know whether it's now I've just gone old as an adult. The card looks too complicated, too much detail, too many. You hit 10,000, 15,000 points.
There's
too many
there's too many
details.
zeros on the end of the numbers. They could
yeah.
just like divide everything by 1,000
Yeah.
and it would still
Make
work
more
exactly the
sense.
same.
Yeah.
Only you don't
And
have
the
to.
text is so small. I have to like read it like that. I was like, whoa, what's
It's
happening
designed
here?
for people with good eyesight.
They sometimes their rares kind of look like a unicorn threw up on them. It's all like glitter and words just randomly smeared everywhere.
I do know what you mean. Yeah,
There's a Final Fantasy card game.
Oh yeah, but where the people
Yeah.
who can afford to pay money for the Japanese imports pretty much automatically win, from what I've heard.
Yeah,
because
so
the first cycles, like we're like a year behind Japan.
Translation.
Yeah. So I don't like crossover stuff. I don't like it when one superhero turns up and is friends or enemies with another superhero, because my brain goes, well, they've got these different powers, and this guy was fighting this enemy at this point. So where was Jeff? Where was Super Jeff when Super Bob was fighting Evil Doctor Doom? That's probably actually a real
That
superhero.
is-
Yeah,
it is.
fuck it. When Batman's dealing with the Joker, why doesn't he ring up Superman?
Yeah.
No one fucking knows. It's 'cause it's a different thing, and it was in a
Because the
different-
film would
he
be 3
didn't know him
seconds
yet,
long.
did he?
Yeah, exactly. So and then immediately the entire world just crumbles and falls away like a wet cake. So I don't like crossover things, and therefore that doesn't appeal to me at all. There's probably some kind of Star Wars based game, and Star Wars people are the worst. You might have to
Star
cut
Wars
that out.
I'm not a Star Wars fan. I've got to be honest. I've tried X-Wing. I've got a massive box of the original Star Wars. I've still got the starter set for the original Star Wars game, and a load of booster pack stuff. So I'm wary of buying into another one of those games because I'll just end up keeping it in a cupboard for 25 years.
So, speaking of stars, there was recently shared amongst the Netrunner community, following the news of the discontinuation of the license for Netrunner, was the example of the Star Trek collectible card game, a game that came out 20 years ago.
I have some of those as well.
Was popular enough to get a second edition. The game then collapsed, partly because the license again was not renewed, But I think part of that was also to do with the fact that one of the chief accountant of the company stole $6 million out of the
That'll do
company. Don't think I need to use the word allegedly because I think it was proven, but just in case, allegedly. And there are still people like over a decade after the final release, over 2 decades after the first release, are still playing the game. And they have a lively internet community. And so that's kind of the other option for Netrunner, isn't it?
Yes, so there is a Nice project being started. I can't remember for the life of me off the top of my head what it actually stands for.
Netrunner...
International Support and Expansion Initiative. And I love it because I love crazy acronyms that... It's basically it's a backronym, isn't it? What can we fit in? Or originally called the Black File, which is a card in Netrunner that stops the game from ending, if you didn't know.
I mean, I initially thought OMG, and then I was like WTF, and then I was like GTFO.
So it's basically a community initiative to first keep the game going with organised play, custom fan art, cards and stuff like that, and play mats. Like we know from things like the charity gift event that you can get play mats made up for events fairly easily.
Just very briefly, charity. I think charity gift is the best time I had playing Netrunner. It's amazing. It was brilliant.
It was really good.
It was really, really fun. I couldn't go to 2017, but 2016 was when I went, and it was amazing. And it was awesome. And if that is still running, I will dig out cards and go and play there, regardless of what else is going on. Because it's for charity, I think partially, but also because you get IDs and you have to kind of deal with it because no ID is duplicated.
Yes,
it's the same with Gaming versus Cancer, which is run down in Southampton. Which I did year before, because I didn't know about the other charity gift, and that is the same. You get given a tier 1 ID and a tier 3 ID, or tier 2 IDs, and they're your IDs. Get on with it. And I got Exile, and even though he's the worst in the world because his ID ability actually cost me games rather than won me games, I still had a great deal of fun. When you install a program,
for the people at home,
when you install a program from your trash, you may draw a card.
Yeah.
And on at least 4 attempts that day, I clone chipped out an SMC to go and get a breaker from my bin mid-run, and then drew the card that I wanted to SMC out.
And then it's not there anymore.
And then it's not there for me to SMC out, because obviously I'm running Shaper and I only have one of each. And then I just face checked into a piece of ice and my run failed.
Yes. So, I personally feel... I read the entirety of that article. I found it absolutely fascinating because I get really excited by weird, eccentric people doing their weird, eccentric things. But the thing I took away from that is they were like, there are over 250 players active in North America. It was a very small number of people. And good luck to them. They're having a great time. And they're releasing more content, and you just print it out and stick it on a card and put it in your sleeve or whatever. They haven't crossed into any of the newer Star Trek stuff, so they're trying to keep to the original kind of series that were out that had that particular license for them. So they're not, they haven't got Simon Pegg as Scotty or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I like to pretend those films don't exist as well.
I genuinely... It started as a joke where I used to pretend I didn't know anything about Star Trek and Star Wars, and I used to get them mixed up as to annoy fanboys. But now it just happens in my brain because I've accidentally linked them together, and I'm like, which one's that? It's got Darth in the name, I'm going to go with Star Wars. So that's a thing. I personally feel that I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. But I will. It's my natural state. I think this is the bargaining stage on that non-existent cycle of grief, where it's like, okay, maybe if we do this, if we do that, the game will carry on and we don't have to let go of the thing that we love.
Yeah.
Because we all really love Netrunner here, right? We probably should have said that right at the beginning.
Well, the thing is, though, what are your expectations from it? Expecting the game to carry on forever? No.
That will never happen.
But if we can get 3, 4, or whatever years out of it, as we've all said, we've all enjoyed all of the events we've been to. I've never met someone I wouldn't want to go for a drink with afterwards. If I can keep doing that for another 3 years, I'll take that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Unlike a lot of card games that have disappeared, the Star Trek one's still got 250 people that are dedicated to it and really love it. There might be slightly more than that with Netrunner, but they'll be massively dedicated because the community is quite well interlinked and integrated with each other and supportive. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I feel like it's going to, like that. You know, the fact that somebody's already got. I think we can organise play for Euros next year at the UK Games Expo. We just need to ask for permission and do this within days of the announcement.
Yeah,
I don't know of other games where that's clicked on quite quickly.
Yeah. It's an older community than I'd say a lot of games have.
Yeah,
it's a community that tends to skew towards professional technical people.
Well, I mean, just look at all of the technical stuff that's fan built, like Cobra. Out there.
I mean, any Netrunner gathering could be renamed the Festival of the Potato Shaped Man, and it would be perfectly fitting. But there are people out there with the skill, the ability to do this and to keep it going. I just feel it's always going to be trailing away, isn't it? It's going to be
it's going to.
It will be trailing away, but I mean, bear in mind, 250 people came to Euros this year, so that's just the people who could get tickets and the time off work and had the money to come.
Yeah.
Plenty of people that still wanted to but just couldn't for whatever reason.
Yeah. I mean, I had no interest in going to Euros,
but still happily play with people who did want to go.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
like
because it's just not something I wouldn't enjoy that level of competitive play. I think Store Championship.
Where you
Do
still
me?
go
You come to
to
regionals?
charity gift and things
Probably
like that.
not.
Come on,
I might do.
You've got
because
one
it's-
last regional
Yeah.
season while it's still official.
So that's the thing as well. Now it's like, it's the last one,
Yep,
and I
exactly.
feel like I missed my chance to do Euros.
Right.
And that's
His
why I'm
way
going to
is-
Worlds.
He's going to Worlds, but actually
Yeah.
paying for a ticket, and I am no way I'm paying for a ticket at the moment.
So
there's
you're
no
just going to
chance.
hope to win
So I'm going to hope
nationals.
to win
So-
nationals. Yeah.
If you bought a ticket and don't want to go, and give it to me, send me your ticket. I will live stream the entire thing from a GoPro strapped to my forehead on the channel, and you can watch the whole thing. Because who the fuck is going to stop me at this point?
Yeah, that's true.
I just need to up my data allowance on my phone, unless they've got good Wi-Fi. But yeah, no. So you're going to go on to Worlds.
I'm going to Worlds, yeah.
Are you going to dabble as well, Carl? Have a go at various bits and pieces?
I'll play in the regionals and whatever events left that I can get to in the UK.
Yeah.
Nationals in Birmingham, August bank holiday weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel
Which was
like
it was a lot of fun year before last. I didn't make it to last year because it was in Liverpool and it was
Yeah.
cheaper for me to go to Holland than it was to go to my own regionals.
yeah.
With my own nationals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels a bit like though, like when a relationship is coming to an end. Like Euros is kind of like the last time that you're physically intimate with that person, because everything is fine, isn't it? I don't realise what's coming. No pun intended. I
So
don't
what's
know.
Worlds then? The breakup hate sex?
It feels like sort of crying and wanking at the same time, looking at a picture of them and thinking about what could have been. That's probably what the after stuff would be.
If
But
nothing else, I'll get to play the RPG
yeah.
at Worlds because that's one of the things they're doing at the Magnum Opus event.
Oh, is they're releasing the
So
RPG?
they're running a game apparently with some dedicated GMs, from what I understand.
Yeah.
To basically you're playing, and then they've got some other event going on as well with a new style of many people against one Netrunner with
Yeah.
a new
When you
NAPDID.
you join in a gang, or it's meant to be the Hong Kong gangster names, 14K and someone else.
14K and the
But yeah,
I can't remember actually now.
Yeah.
but yeah, you
Because
play.
Android is more than just New Angeles now, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, they can play around with those kinds of
Yeah, I mean the
things,
new
yeah.
cycle, not the last cycle, sorry, the Katara cycle is all set around a second
Space
Beanstalk.
Elevator,
Yeah.
yeah. And actually,
Which could be the way that I don't know whether FFG might be going set into, because they still got that kind of Android world, depending on how it happens in the worlds with that kind of tournament, that kind of space, whether it rolls into a different kind of role play setting or different kind of setting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to leave the IP alone because they're really doing well enough out of it.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping them creating a different type of living card game that just doesn't use the same mechanics, because mechanics are part of the thing, unfortunately. But yeah, they can transfer a lot of the other stuff over.
Yeah.
Jackson Howard may make his return.
Yeah. I mean, he's still he's in New Angeles, isn't he?
I've not actually played New Angeles. That's the only one I've not played.
Yeah.
And it's one I keep planning on getting. It's on my bloody wish list, but no one buys it for me for Christmas.
You're making a plea here.
Yeah.
What we'll do is instead of a weekly Netrunner, we'll play New Angeles at some point. It's in my cupboard. We've played it twice. I really enjoyed it, and then it's just it's 4 hours, and it's a hefty undertaking, and you can lose hard. You can lose. The other players can collectively decide, rightly or wrongly, that you're the betrayer, just freeze you out the game, and you can do nothing.
Right.
Which is horrible potentially. If I'm in the right mood, I would be fine with that happening to me. If I'm in the wrong mood, I'll flip my table and poke you in the fucking eye. So that's a thing. I hope that there is some form of something for Netrunner. Because it's such a great game, I feel it deserves to carry on. It would be a shame for it to become, to be forgotten. B, I think I spent like 800 quid on fucking Netrunner in the last 2 years. So I need to get my money's worth out of it.
So it comes to regionals.
But that's more money.
It's a
throwing more money after
It's a drive up to Derby and like 15 quid. I'll come and pick you up on
now we're talking. You're appealing to my laziness.
Buy me a McDonald's and I'll drive you to Derby for the regionals.
I'll buy you a salad, because if you're having a McDonald's, I'll have to have a McDonald's and I'll get fat again.
McDonald's do salads, you could have a McDonald's salad.
I was 2 stone heavier when I started playing Netrunner. Is that a coincidence? Yes. I'll buy you a McDonald's. That sounds good. It'll be nice to take advantage of what remains, and for the future of our sort of Netrunner coverage, we'll do something when Reign and Reverie comes out. We'll have a chat about that, and then I think we'll try to release a goodbye officially to Netrunner thing on the exact day when the license expires.
Funeral pyre.
Yes,
not necessarily.
We'll burn some stuff. We'll decide who's really to blame, and we'll burn them.
Yeah, we'll build an effigy like a Guy Fawkes Day type of celebration.
Yeah, and we'll look at it through sunglasses at night while wearing trench coats.
We'll build a giant Richard Garfield because he's invented it, so he's put us in this position. So mirror shades out in the night, set fire to something. We'll have to put some kind of fireworks to sort of simulate the neon flashes.
Yeah.
I've got a black light.
Right? Oh no, not on radio.
Not in anyone's bedroom anyway.
It's because with any game that you're playing over a long period of time, it ebbs and flows. And I was definitely in an ebb, and I was just coming back into full flow, and I was starting to buy and pick up the other bits, and we'd made some channel plans. For various personal reasons, the Euros wasn't an option. And the Expo, I was only there for a day, but I was getting back into it. My other roleplay group that doesn't include Aaron, because he's not allowed to play,
traitor,
have just got into the sprawl, and I've independently come up with a setting with its own space elevator, and we've got twin cities of the Singapore sprawl and Tranquility, which is on the moon. I'm very excited, even though I'm going to have to work out how the moon's going to work with gravity and shit. I'm really not looking forward to that.
But did you enjoy the games today?
But yeah, I really enjoyed playing Netrunner again today, and it made me feel a little bit sad actually, because it does feel like, for me, part of the game at least, of that keeping up with what's going on, has is kind of going away, and I'm just going to totally rip loads of Netrunner stuff off for my sprawl, and it's my own bargaining and trying to keep hold of Netrunner. I'll put it into the thing, and we'll probably play some Netrunner roleplay. We'll play some Android roleplay. and just hope that a new version of the game comes out at some point.
I've still got the old version. I'll bring a couple of decks round.
Yeah, we'll play that.
And you can marvel at the... What? I have to roll a dice to work out how strong this icebreaker is?
I don't want to play it.
Okay.
I do think that's one of the things. Oh, no. We're going off on tangents, and we've been going for ages, and you people need to go home. Yeah, so that was. We'll definitely do a couple more podcasts, but we also talk about loads of other things. And I think it would be good for us as a gaming group, if we're still playing Netrunner, we'll still talk about Netrunner.
As with the cat.
Yes, as will the cat.
Yeah.
We will.
She just poo-poo to your fatalism about the game.
Yeah, she's running around. What she does is she does a stinky shit. She then tries to bury it by dragging the wall into the box. When the wall doesn't move, she's like, predators are coming, run. She runs to me to tell me to run away. And then she gets really annoyed with me because I'm not taking her seriously, and then she hides under the bed for a day. And that's my life. Yeah, so if we're still playing Netrunner, we will continue to talk about Netrunner. If we're trying to find other things, we will share that, because we talk about all sorts of other things as well.
Yeah.
I do feel really bad for the people that have built up channels and content that is exclusively around Netrunner.
Yeah, because a lot of that stuff was really good as well.
Yeah, there's some great stuff out there. I love Run Last Click.
Yeah.
I really like Benny's Biokin channel and the stuff that he
Trace
does.
5 have only just been off from Teamwork Cast.
Yeah, I love Teamwork Cast.
Their coverage of tournaments are probably my favourite.
Yes, yeah. When we released our one live play video before life got in the way, and Jamie had to go off and have a child and all that boring stuff, and we planned out to do some stuff there. We copied the way they videoed stuff. We were like, well, they're doing that really well, we can do it slightly worse. And not as funny, but that they set the standard for the commentary and that kind of thing. The way it looks great.
Peachak is near enough professional in. I don't know if you've watched any of their coverage of
Little
the
bit,
American
yeah.
tournaments, but the way they've got like 4 cameras so they can see what's in everyone's hand. Look on their faces as they draw the next card. It's just
yeah. I mean, we had an idea. We wanted to get I joked earlier, maybe if we didn't cut it, about strapping a GoPro to my head. We generally were trying to work out like the next level of Netrunner coverage is live, so not Jinteki. You have the view of the tabletop, but you also have a camera for each player, so you can see
down the corners.
So you can see everyone's hand. You switch between the players, and someone plays a card. You can see their opponent's reaction. And that was going to be our future.
And you want a glass table as well, so you can see what the face down ice is.
That was discussed at one point.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
because I used to have a glass coffee table until my ex-girlfriend took it away, and we managed to chip the fuck out of it, moving it out of the flat. It was very sad. For multiple reasons. But yeah, so we had these plans. We may still do them, but all that content is still out there. Those people will still be doing something. Run Last Click, listened to recently, they were talking about other things. They were talking about that's terrible. They were discussing the idea of moving their content on, and I would still listen to them talk about other things.
Yeah.
Unless they, went exclusively for Magic the Gathering, for instance, which I could do, but I'd be like, I don't.
No, I think I'd still listen to them if they do Magic. I think they'd make it entertaining to listen to.
I would listen to them talk about Edie riding bikes.
We do.
Yeah, but just exclusively. I'd like to get to know Lane more. He's a bit mysterious. I feel a kinship with him because he tries to teach words to kids that don't want to know about words. I would quite happily I've watched Teamwork Cast play Monster Hunter, because that's what their other stuff was.
Yeah.
I know nothing about Monster Hunter, but I enjoyed watching them trying to hunt monsters. That was fine. Benny, he can talk about dogs and stuff at me. That's fine. Is there anyone I've missed out who you guys would miss?
Metropole Grid.
Yep.
Andre from Metropole Grid.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's done some sterling work in introducing new decks. So I've seen several decks that he's taken out, and he's like, yeah, so this is how it's supposed to work. Let's give it a go. And
Yeah.
I'll never forget watching him accidentally win twice playing as Jemison, sorry, when someone kept running into his Project June bugs. He got his alternate win condition. He said, no, I want a fast advance.
Obviously, as the star of Code Marvelous' stream.
Yes, I will miss Code Marvelous for that reason. But no, I mean, in general, like we always said, the whole community, the whole group, there's a lot of those I will miss, those kind of channels. It's what that pops up on my YouTube trending and feeds that I will definitely make time to watch.
I've learnt some good stuff from the Netrunner Quest team. Because they seem to be aimed at someone a little bit better than me, so I'm always just like, right, if I can just get that next little bit by myself, I can listen to them to get the rest of the way.
Yeah, I mean, we started, our Netrunner coverage was started as Netrunner Noobs, because we were new to it and we had that angle.
Yeah.
Once we weren't noobs anymore, it was either we got serious and we turned into those people, or we didn't. And that was kind of where our thing was coming from, was like, we don't really know, we're not big competitive gamers in that sense. And then we were trying to find, it was a bit like the idea for Jank. It was like, we'll explore one thing in great detail rather than try and talk about the meta and keep up with everything, because that's not our strength. That's not what we're like. But that does mean that we've done lots of other stuff, so we can survive. So anyone from those things, if they ever want to come and be on our thing and talk about some other stuff, we'd love like some guests. I'll actually buy them a McDonald's.
So can't forget Winning Agenda.
Yes.
The 150
the Source
episodes
as well.
Source,
I've listened to a few times. I quite like them.
The Bagpiper.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
understand the word they
Bagpiper.
were saying. They've got accents of some kind. It was very difficult to deal with. But I hope that they do some other stuff. It'd be good.
Yeah. Well, I hope that Netrunner continues and they keep doing the stuff they're currently doing.
Yeah, you're far more optimistic than I am.
Yeah.
Miserable.
But if nothing
person.
else happens, we've got the Genteki guys have said that the code's open source, so even if they stop, someone else
can rip
just,
code.
someone else can just spin up.
Yeah, that's really good.
So
and actually, it might be. I might be wrong. It might be nice to have a finished product, and this is the game, and this is everything that's in it.
Well,
What can we do with that?
Because it's
You
not
get
going to be
deeper.
it's not
Get
going to be
deeper.
solved at this point, because yes, you may get this is the most efficient deck in this way, but it just means that it's weak against these ones, so everyone will start playing that instead.
Yeah.
Which means everyone shifts and the meta will change.
Yeah,
week
and
on
to
week.
bring us full circle to something you said ages ago, many hours ago now, it's a good place for it to stop. It is nicely balanced, it is nice and diverse, and I think there's still space for us to play around in it and find some other weird things.
Well, let's see what Rain and Reverie does.
And I would like to officially start the unrotate noise movement.
I think that started the moment.
Or earn, as we can be earners. And I think if they let me bring noise back in and use the really broken virus cards that would be broken with him, then I'll be happy for quite a while.
But I'm pretty sure you could go other strategies and other ways, because it's like in different countries I've seen in Hong Kong, Malaysia, and previously before the actual end, they tried to reintroduce the whole pack to universities and their playgroup, but they started all over again with Just Core, and they actually go through the whole process, start with Just Core, and then when the community built, they've added, now I think some of them's gone up to like the 2.1 cycle, so they've added a cycle in after about
They're
a year
talking
play
about
or so.
doing that at the Thames side on Tuesday nights in London.
Start it again.
Start again
from
with
scratch.
Core.
Yeah,
with
that's
newbies
cool.
and everyone else.
Which I wish I could make it to, because I never got to experience the joy of the prepaid cake.
No.
So-
Jamie talks about it, and he gets this kind of look in his eyes that he doesn't get even when he talks about his own child. it's a bit sad in a way. Yeah, I mean, there's things that you could do. I mean, you can do drafting is cool. I really liked Benny's snake draft,
Yes.
where So if the four of us were drafting decks, I would pick a card. No one else could use that card. Carl would pick.
Yeah.
So I would pick. You would pick. You'd then get to pick again. So I'm not getting first pick every time. It's snake back.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes around. That sounds like great fun. And you just get a group of people and do it that way. You could do faction only. So you can build your deck anything you like from the whole thing, but you can only use Anarch. You could only use Wayland cards. You probably wouldn't do that. But you could only
Might work now.
only just. But I'd quite happily play that for a few months and play around with that and be like, okay, I can't.
No tag and bag.
yeah. But it becomes a very different game with slight modifications, slight different ideas. I mean, Cash Refresh was an attempt to do something to get new people in.
Yeah, and before that was onesies.
Yeah, the thing that worries me about it is now there will be a finite amount of Netrunner cards in the world because they're not going to be printing more.
Well, you could just print your own.
But people are going to accept proxies at the community run events. Everyone, all the TOs that previously have run stuff have said, you know, a lot of them will say, I will continue to run events and yes, proxies will be fine.
Yeah. I think I'm a bitter child who once played his friend's box of Hero Quest and then never got a Hero Quest box of his own. I never got to experience the joy of the broadsword. And I'm very, very sad about that.
Could be worse, you could be Australian.
Yeah, I mean, not just in Netrunner terms, but just in life.
Yeah, their internet apparently is pretty shocking.
Yes, yeah, which means they won't hear this. We can be as horrible about them as we like, and it's fine.
When your political leader has to get involved because your internet is that terrible, that's a bad place to be.
Yeah, but I mean, it's very different to America that has the best internet, bigly. That's a really bad joke, Brian. It's very late. So, any final words, any final thoughts before we end our run?
The community is awesome. I will keep seeing you guys at events until we're all dead.
Yeah, I think if people decide that Netrunner isn't, if people decide that Netrunner isn't going to be a thing, can we all get together and like have a poll and just decide what we're playing next as a group, and everyone just go and play that? Like, if the entire community went, you know what, we're going to pick something really obscure and just make it massive and just like sell it out across the world.
We could put it out for tender, like games companies. Right, there's a load of Netrunner players who are looking for a new game.
Yeah.
What have you got to offer?
Yeah. We've got Netrunner, which is a similar thing but with a religious tone.
About historical nuns, right?
Yes, yeah. It would just be great if like everyone just went and played a different thing. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Competitive Pandemic Legacy.
I couldn't believe there was competitive Catan and Carcassonne at Euros.
Yes.
Like, what?
Yeah.
You take this way too seriously for a game where everyone starts the same.
Yeah. We could do Scrabble, but we'd allow Netrunner words as well as any
only allow Netrunner words.
That'd be really hard.
But isn't your new game? Frenetic is the new Scrabble.
It is the new Scrabble, and you can see us at the Games Expo playing it on our channel. That's really
Netrunner code names. We'll all just start playing that instead. So you put the 25 cards out, and you've got.
Have
you played code names?
This is an expression of excitement.
Yeah, that can really work.
That can work. Yeah.
Cool. So tune in next week where we play Netrunner Codenames. Cool. So thank you very much to my guests. It's been a pleasure and an honour to have you. And no matter what happens to Netrunner, we will carry on playing games together.
Yep.
It will be good. Thank you to everyone who has listened. I hope that no matter what happens to Netrunner, you'll continue to tune in to hear me belittle Aaron and be mean to him. And treat him like the little bitch he is. Yes, and them too. And we hope to hear from you again. As I said, we'll have at least a couple more podcasts to do with Netrunner. I'm hoping to invite everyone I've ever played Netrunner with for the final one. And just like fill my flat with sad potato-shaped men. So until then, we will see you again soon. I've been Brian.
I've been Aaron.
Coffee.
I'm Simon.
And hopefully, as I said, I'm repeating myself. Goodbye. Bye. Endings are hard. Say goodbye, Aaron.
You said it twice. I don't need to now.
Okay. Goodbye from Aaron as well. Like, I'm not your king.